Just in case you're not completely comfortable with using Google Sheets yet, I wanted to give you some help so that you are able to do your lab report. And so what I would do is go ahead and go into the Lemon Lab instructions that I have on Moodle. I have it opened up right now. And there's a link right in that document to the Google Sheet that you put all of your information into. So I'm going to click on that and open up that document. Now, I don't want you to find your mean and your standard deviation and do your graphing on our class sheet. I would like you to have your own sheet. So the first thing, once this is opened up, that I would like you to do is to make a copy of this. So I go into File and down to Make a Copy. You need to be logged into your student account so that it will let you do this. And I'm going to name this, and I would like you to do this, rename it with your name. So I'll name it Mrs. Winnie Lemon Lab, and I will say OK. So here's my copy. This way I'm not affecting the class copy. I'm just making my own. So the first thing is let's tackle the mean and standard deviations that you need to do. Now remember, the nice thing about Sheets is that it does the formulas for you. You just need to hit the equal bar and it knows you're doing a formula. Now for Sheets, mean is the average. So if I start typing in average, that pops up. Now the first one I'm just going to do of my group, and of course this is of made up numbers, but I'm going to pretend I'm group 1. I just highlight my microwaved lemon numbers for group 1. I hit enter, and there's my mean if I were group 1. And of course you're going to do it for whatever group you are in. I also need the standard deviation. So again, I hit the equal sign because I'm going to let Sheets do this for me. And standard deviation in Sheets is STDEV. That's standard deviation. And again, I highlight the values that it wants me to find the standard deviation of. And hit enter, and there's my standard deviation. I need to also do this for the class values, for the whole class, so I can compare what were my results like compared to the entire class. Okay, so this is the mean, so I do an equal sign and start typing average. It pops up in my menu, and now I highlight all of the classes data for the microwave lemons, hit enter, and well, my made-up groups average is pretty close to the class's average. And now I'm going to do the same for standard deviation, so STDEV. And again, I'm going to highlight, because I'm finding the standard deviations of the values for the microwave lemons. I hit enter. All right, now I decided to go ahead and move the mean for the class and the standard deviation below the graph here before we start graphing this information. And I wanted to show you one other trick, which is this cell has a formula for the average. And you know that if I get this, see when I go to this box, I get a little plus sign. If I hold that down and bring it over, it takes that formula and now it's found the average of this column right here. I'm going to do the same for the standard deviation. Okay, so I have the standard deviation now also for the unmicrowaved lemons. This is the information that I'm going to use to make a graph. Okay, so I've played around a little bit with the chart maker in Sheets with this lab and have decided it does it much better when I have the labels right next to the means. So if you can see, I added microwaved and unmicrowaved right above the averages for our class, and you'll see for me at least, it graphed a lot better. So what I'm going to do to graph it is highlight these 4 cells, and then I'm going to go up to Insert Chart and click on this. Now, this is what they suggest as a chart type which I don't want. I really just want a simple bar graph. Okay, and now that I've chosen this, now I could choose other graphs. They highlight other graphs that I could choose to use, but I feel like, at least for this case, a simple bar graph is what will work best. Once I choose my graph, now I need to go to customization, and I would like you to name your chart, put your name in it. So I'm going to add a title to mine, and we'll call this the lemon juice graph. Delete that. Okay, now for the next thing I want to look at, I'm going to scroll down, and let's label our axes. We always want to make sure that they're labeled. So let's first deal with the horizontal one. So the horizontal axis is just telling me the different types of lemons. So I'm just going to call those lemons. And now I have to go back up to where it says horizontal axes, and if I click this menu down, I get the option to do my vertical axes. Okay, and I'm going to call this left vertical axis our percent juice per mass of lemon. If you can think of a better title, go for it, but this will work for now. The one other thing that I want you to add to your graph is your error bar. So this is showing the standard error of the mean, and if you keep scrolling down, it gets to error bars. It's the same thing, the standard error of the mean. And I'm going to use a constant. Now they automatically add 10 error bars, so that's the width of 10 standard errors of the mean. I only want 2. Okay, so there's my 2 standard errors of the mean that are on my graph. Now my graph is all set. The reason that you want to put 2 error bars on is because when you're doing an experiment and you want to show that your results are statistically significant, you need to show, or you can say, yes, I get a statistically significant more amount of juice out of microwaved lemons than I do out of unmicrowaved lemons, because look, my error bars don't even touch. The bottom of my blue error bar does not touch the top of the red error bar. So I know, or at least I have a stronger argument that yes, in fact, microwaving lemons before you juice them does actually give you more juice. Okay, so now that we're happy with how our graph looks, you just hit insert, and that puts it right into your Google Sheets. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so that it will show me. And let's see if that helps. Microwave, unmicrowave. It still doesn't show that whole title here, but we'll live with that. Now, what you can do at this point to get this into your lab report itself, if you click on this little arrow, you can save this image and then insert it into your lab document. You can take a screenshot of this if you wanted to. Just make sure that you cut down all the extra stuff around it. I just want to see the graph when you get it into your lab. And always, if you have any questions, you may feel free to send me an email, and I'll do my best to answer your questions.